Well, hello and welcome to all of our viewers here today. I'm Fiona Lang-Sharp, IBCLC Director of Communications and MC here at Gold Learning. Welcome to everyone joining us here today. Well, I'm excited to be sitting down with Kimberly Moore-Salas, and she is going to be speaking at our upcoming Gold Lactation Conference. Kimberly is actually going to be here speaking at one of our add-on packages, which is titled Lactation and Adversity, Addressing Challenges with Confidence Lecture Pack. You'll be able to grab that package right away as soon as you register for our conference at goldlactation.com. And it's coming up right away. March 29th is our opening keynote day with Nikisha Killings. She's going to be here with us during our live presentations on that day. You'll be able to register for that event, of course, free of charge. It's open access to everyone. You can share it with all of your colleagues and friends. And I know we'll look forward to seeing you there. And Kimberly's presentation will be ready for that day as well. So we'll very excited to have Kimberly here with us today. Welcome, Kimberly. It's so good to have you.
Hi, good afternoon or good morning. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited about this.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I know, Kimberly, you've been working very hard on this presentation. And I know that this has been a big journey for you to do this presentation. And we'll talk a little bit about why this is so important to you. And this particular presentation, of course, is titled The Power of Storytelling, a Tool for Addressing Historical Trauma and Breastfeeding. So we'll talk a little bit about that in just a moment. But first of all, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell people where you are in the world, because I know you just told me it's gorgeous weather today. So we now all want to know where you are in the world and perhaps a little bit about your work life there too.
Well, I'm in Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, actually. The weather is beautiful. Lots of things to do here in Arizona. As far as where I am in the world, I'm here with my family. I miss my family on the reservation dearly, which I think I'm going to be taking a trip there soon, and I think it's going to be a very emotional time for us. And especially where this work that I did with this presentation triggered a lot of emotions and a lot of memories. So I feel like it's going to be a different, impactful visit. So I'm looking forward to really experiencing that. And I think it's a part of the healing journey that I think a lot of people should, kind of sit and listen and kind of be still in that moment and really reflect on everything that has happened in the world, especially during the pandemic. Um, yeah, so it's been quite a journey. A year has definitely changed so many lives, and it's changed my life, and it's changed me personally for sure.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, thank you, because I think that, not only when we were first thinking about someone representing this topic, of course, here at Gold, and your name came to us, who knew that it would be such a journey, for all intentions. And but this particular topic, of the historical trauma and the impacts of breastfeeding and where it is today. Of course, this is not just about storytelling, but this is, as you mentioned, it's about healing. And there are so many families that are continue on this journey of wanting and definitely needing healing, and that respect of what we need to do as a white woman, what I need to do and how I can be supportive, and what I need to do when I need to refer out, and things like that. Those things are really important to me personally, but I know that they are to so many of us as well. So I know that I'm so eager to learn from you. Honestly, Kimberly, I can't teach me. I want to learn. I hope that, this journey for us is not just going to be over with this presentation, but I hope that we can continue on a journey together as well, so that I can learn more and be present, because that's what it's about today. It's about being present and listening. So we're going to do lots of that during, of course, your presentation. But let's talk a little bit more about you. You have quite an extensive background as well. I mean, you are a board certified lactation consultant. Also, you have a lot of experience with peer support as well. Where has that taken you today in your professional journey?
Well, I came from a peer counseling background, so peer counseling and peer support really really shaped how I was going to help families. And that's some of the talk that we'll talk about, but really taking that model and using some of the stories and how we can encompass those teachings into
Mm,
the way we fit that today, versus just, going into the clinical, what's wrong with the mother. Let's step back and listen to what she has to say, and how do we connect that with the work that we do as lactation clinicians.
mm,
Um, so the peer counseling has definitely been a good place in my heart. I learned so much in that, and connecting with families. And a little backstory to that is when I worked for the WIC peer counseling program, um, I was a stay-at-home mom, and I was going
mm,
back into the work, and so I got hired as a peer counselor at a full-time position, and it was a new position that the WIC clinic was doing, and it
mm,
was actually right by the Phoenix Indian Medical Center hospital here in Phoenix, where all our families deliver their babies, and a lot of our healthcare, you know, services are there. And so I was able to see a lot of Native families come through. And what was very intriguing about that is when I was helping these families, it reminded me of my mom at the
mm.
time that came from the reservation to get the help she needed. She was, I was seeing my mom, there,
Right.
and listening to her story, and how does families transition from reservation life to urban setting, and what
Mm,
that's like. And so it really put me into that work to be more empathetic and really reflect on me and how far I've come and where the work was going for me. And so that was a very special place to kind of take me back into that. And also healing, because I was really using that to put in place where those families were coming from. And so
mm.
that was a big learning, and learning for me, and to really take in the peer counseling approach and breastfeeding. And that's how I became an IBCLC, was through working those families, and by the hospital setting. So
Sure.
yeah, it worked out.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And you also, I mean, I know you work in the community and you're an advocate as well. But tell me a little bit about some of your positions that you hold right now and what you're currently doing in the community.
Well, my full-time job, I'm actually a lactation consultant here in Phoenix, Arizona. I actually initiated and implemented the first lactation mentorship program for women of color for the Pathway 3. So that
Oh,
hasn't been done
wonderful.
in Phoenix. So that's, my main job, and to
Mhm.
having women of color come in and get some of those clinical hours, because that field of lactation is very privileged, and we don't have, those easy accessible clinical hours.
Mhm.
But what I also do is I do community home visits, partnership with Navajo Nation Breastfeeding Coalition. So they have a grant that has me go out in even during the pandemic to help
Mm.
families that want to
Wow.
breastfeed, and
Mhm.
a lot. It's amazing how much support is not there. I mean, there's already
Right.
not enough support, and then put a pandemic in that, where families are scared to go into, a hospital or clinic. And so I was able to go out and get PPE from the coalition.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and because I work in a hospital, I was very familiar with working with families that were COVID, and I
Mhm.
got to go into the COVID with the families and help them breastfeed, because mothers did have COVID. It wasn't like
Mhm.
they were not going to be
Right.
a part of, that population. So I was able to help them. So I wasn't too worried about me as far as how to, be protective. But that was a big part of the work I wanted to do, was contribute how I can help families feel safe with breastfeeding.
Oh, that's
Um,
so good.
yeah.
Yeah, a lot of mixed messaging, of course, that we're still seeing online and amongst peers. But it's been wonderful to hear not only that you've been be able to go out, but so many folks have been able to reach families. This has been a critical time, but it's also been a time. There's been a lot of trauma that has
Hmm.
happened, and I think that's why it's. I mean, in some respects, I think it's been so important that we've had an opportunity to talk about trauma, and not just in the immediate, but how the historical trauma connects with the immediate trauma that folks are dealing with. So that's something that's been really important, I think, in this time.
Yeah. And just to acknowledge that there's still things going on in the community that continues to happen, right? Continues to
Right.
happen to our people, even during the pandemic, with separation of our babies, right?
Right.
That
Yeah.
was a huge thing. That was national, but also, different facilities were profiling families depending on their zip code, things
Mm-hmm.
like that. And
Wow.
that's very hurtful to us as Native
Yeah.
people. Um, and so working through that, and one of our hospitals, the Phoenix Intermedical Hospital, recently closed down almost a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that mothers would go and have their babies there. And it's culturally, it's culturally for them to go where they feel safe, and they felt like
Of
this is
course.
where this hospital's established some of that cultural competency. And
Right.
then they closed down that unit, and so the
Wow.
family's not having a way to have a provider. So we're seeing a lot of those families now in
Mm,
the hospital. And it's been a transition, but I feel good that I can see families that look like me, and I'm sure they feel good that they can see someone there looking like them and helping them through
absolutely.
their breastfeeding challenges. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Kimberly Moore-Salas. Wow. I mean, our time together is just closing right now, but boy, we could definitely talk longer, I know, but we will have a chance, of course, to meet online again. And I know you're going to be available in our forums for our delegates as well after the presentation, and folks will be able to listen in and listen to your presentation actually at their convenience. So again, Kimberly is going to be part of our lactation adversity add-on package, addressing challenges with confidence. And the presentation title is The Power of Storytelling, a tool of addressing historical trauma and breastfeeding. Thank you so much, Kimberly, for being with us here today. It's been a delight sitting with you.
Thank you.
And of course, to all of our viewers, thank you so much for listening in. We appreciate your time. We're looking forward to connecting with you online as well. And so do join us at goldlactation.com. You can register for this event and be part of this journey together as we continue to learn and collaborate internationally and around the world. Thank you again for joining us here today, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye for now.